fun begins.
How's it going?
Hello.
Well,
Greetings, young Jedi.
hello there.
What is up, everyone? Hybrid Toy Reviews here, and today we are taking a look at a figure that is incredibly long overdue. Boom! We have the brand new Jango Fett from the Black Series. It is a redo of what I consider to be one of the worst figures in the entire line. I am so incredibly excited about it. You may have seen me pick this up. If you watch the Hybrids Weekend Toy Hunt videos, they go up every Sunday, and I'm particularly rather proud. I have been hitting a lot of Myers lately. They've been popping up, and you may have seen the moment that I found this guy on the shelf.
Ever made your way as far into the interior as
Meyer.
Once or twice?
recently?
Possibly.
They have Tobo, no way. So that's really, really exciting, and I am just really glad to have been able to get this guy in person, save a little money on shipping, and just, still generally getting it relatively early in the grand scheme of things. So super amped on that. I am so amped. I just, we got to get this out of the box. I need to take a close look, and I am excited to do so with all of you. And here's Jango in the box. We will quickly look at it, although it is a standard Black Series box that you've likely seen many like before. You have your Black Series logo above a big window showing Jango and his many accessories off nicely. He's number 10 in the red Attack of the Clones lineup. His name's over there as well. Warning 4+ Hasbro. This side of the box features some really cool artwork of Jango with his pistol raised. You've got some of the Geonosis Arena in the background there looking cool. His name's down at the bottom of the side. This side has your wraparound window stripe and Black Series logo at the bottom. Around back has another Black Series logo, a zoom in of that side art, a bio about Jango in like 5 languages, so pause and read whichever language best applies to you. Once more, number 10 in the Attack of the Clones line. A bunch of legal stuff and logos and more barcode and legal stuff and a little hanger tab up top. Very standard action figure stuff. If you've got one Hasbro figure, you know what you're getting from all of them. So let's go ahead, get this guy out of the box, and take a look at Jango. So here's Jango out of the box. The way I normally do my reviews is, I film that little box segment, my little intro, then I open it up. Sometimes I put on a little YouTube video, listen in the background while I pose around with the figure for 15-20 minutes, get a feel for it. So I've done that, and I gotta say, initial impressions is this Jango is absolutely nuts. I love it. I don't think he is going to not be on my top 10 figures of the year list. I don't know what we're getting this year. It's the middle of January, but I just ponder what they could do. I don't know that he's going to be like in the top end of the list necessarily, but I think he's going to be on that list because this Jango is just phenomenal. So I'm going to be very complimentary of it as we go through. So if you have preconceived notions, this video probably isn't for you. But let's run through some accessories. Jango comes with his jetpack, and it looks oh so nice. It is in that kind of silver swirly twirly plastic. We're going to talk about that as we go through this figure. They saved some paint budget by using the swirly twirly marbled, silver plastic. I think it looks fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And on a character like Jango, it might even just be the move. But anyway, that saves them some silver deco, so all the blues are paint, and then the silver is just the base plastic. Something interesting is the jetpack. The jet thrusters on the bottom of the jetpack are like ball jointed in there, so that's neat. So they can be posed a little bit. They also have the ports where if you haven't used those jetpack effects from the Return of the Jedi Boba Fett, that came out 6 years ago, you could put them in here. I don't know why Hasbro has only ever released those once and then made every jetpack since, but that's all right. There is the peg and the 2 rectangular notches. They marry into the back of the figure nicely, and pushing it in, it is nice and secure and not going anywhere. Setting them back down. Nope. Come on, don't do that to me, Jango. That's what the old figure does. We're better than that. Jango comes with his standard 2 pistols. They're identical, so I'm just gonna focus on one. They are very small and skinny, so just forgive. They are in that silver swirly twirly plastic once more. There's no paint to be had, but they are generally silver in the movie. I think the handles had like a chrome blue effect to them, but I'm okay with them not being painted. While it may have been nicer to get them painted, the handle's going to be like in his hand all the time, so like you're not going to see it. So it's not ideal, but I forgive it. He features 2 working holsters. They are a little bit more to the front of the thigh than the side of the thigh, like the old figure was. So that's a little bit of a difference, but I think they look pretty good holstered in there. I am going to remove them and set them aside, but they are a nice snug fit. So setting him back down. This helmet is superb. I love everything about it. So interestingly, when you look through it from underneath, it's kind of like see-through. I think they used a clear plastic, which this doesn't feel like most removable helmets. It is not rubbery. It's got like a little softness to it, but it is very, very firm. And that's an interesting thing. They haven't done that on a lot of these removable helmets before. So I don't know if we're going to ever have issues of it like frictioning paint off the head sculpt. I guess we're just going to have to wait and see on that. But the silver paint on it just has like a beautiful luster to it. The blue is very bold. The visor's glossy. The 2 black lines around the top of the helmet are pretty dang straight. Something like that can get misaligned pretty easily with Hasbro QC, but mine seem to be very, very nice. It also features the articulating rangefinder, which is a little snug, but you can get it down right in front of the eye, which is excellent, and it fits on the head. It's a little snug, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, and it doesn't look too big. I know some of the removable helmets look a little bit big, but I forgive it because I do like the gimmick, but this one is not the worst offender. And you don't even really see any chin in there, so ultimately it is a really good cause, a really good use of the gimmick. So now, working down the rest of the figure, I guess first let's take the helmet off, because we need to take a look at that Tamura Morrison likeness. And I gotta say, it is pretty good. Come on, what are you doing, camera? There we go. It really looks like Jango did in Attack of the Clones. I feel like they've got the skin tone right. It is just that perfect shade of just kind of like, you know, like really, really tan, you know. It's a good look. The subtle stubble looks good. You know, he's got that 5 o'clock shadow going on. He's got the scar on his eyebrow and his cheek. They are perfectly done. I really like how they turned out. And he's got that little scar on his other cheek there. The hair is textured very nice. It is all jet black, which is appropriate, and just a very, very good-looking likeness. That's Jango, in my opinion. Working down, I gotta say Jango looks quite excellent. He features his purple bodysuit. You know, as a kid, I kind of remember thinking, like, it's blue, but no, as I grew up, it's more of like a navy, you know, touch of purple. This is a little bit more in the purple direction, but I like that. I do like that. It was definitely purple in the GameCube Bounty Hunter game, which is something I'm going to be playing on the gaming live streams soon, so keep an eye out for those. One thing that I noticed when these promo photos came out, like first they announced them and I was like, oh, new Jango, which, you know, I'm still a little bit in that mindset. But something that I noticed when he got announced was the chest armor is all painted because, you know, it has to be because it's on that overlay. But the leg armor is in that swirly twirly silver plastic, and there is just a touch of tonal difference. But I gotta say, it was much more drastic in those promo photos where you get them under the studio lighting and then you like photograph them with a DSLR or whatever. It just, you know, it really, really caught my eye in those photos. But seeing it in hand and then actually just getting it in natural lighting or the lighting of the cabinets at home where, you know, like it's lit, but it's not like being bombarded with studio lighting. To the naked eye, it's really not as offensive. You can see it. There is a touch of difference, but I liked it a lot less in the promo photos. In person, it doesn't bother me as much. So I do like that. he has these little hoses that run from his gauntlets up under the bicep area on both arms. I've seen a lot of people making fun about the quality control being terrible because in the promo photos of Hasbro's figure, these hoses on this gauntlet had broken. They had the gauntlet pulled up. They had his elbow in a 90 degree, and you could see like the broken tubing underneath of it. But the thing that I don't think the posing photography guy had gotten down is these hoses go up to a overlay in the elbow joint, and that is like free spinning. You can kind of see it's moving in there. And so when you bend the elbows, you just got to make sure that you have those hoses running up the outside instead of the back of the bicep, and then they'll bunch up instead of just pull tight. And it's just something where, like, you know, just don't proceed with caution, you know, like, and not that you shouldn't have to be cautious with a figure, but just, I guess, just think about it before you just grab it and start romping on it. You know, it's easy to, you know, ham fist a figure and start breaking stuff. So it's just advised that you just approach it intelligently, you know. But I think most collectors do. I'm not saying most don't, but some people saw that and they're, you know, running with that on their narrative about a figure that they decided was bad before they knew it was coming. So that's just the way the world is. But otherwise, I gotta say, he's just got a lot of purple and silver going on. I like the little touch of copper on his whistling birds, or that might just be a full-blown missile launcher in his case. Working down, you know, they didn't paint the knee darts or anything, but given the whole thing is silver, maybe that's not necessarily inaccurate. And holding him, I can't help but notice that the tread on these boots is nuts. I mean, I just feel it like really stobing into my finger when I'm holding it. It's not like painful. It's just like, wow, he's got tread, you know? So it's just attention getting. Let's run through some articulation. So if you're familiar with a lot of the new Mandalorian figures, and this isn't reuse in any way, but it's in that kind of mindset where it's got the overlay and then it's just got some really good things that have become standardized with other Mandos. So Jango features the double ball neck, which allows him to look that far up, which is really nice. He can basically bury his chin. You can go side to side and, of course, rotate. The shoulder pads are part of the chest overlay. They are not attached to the arms or on the ring that, you know, a lot of them use these days. This looks good, you know, based on what you see in the film, but it's maybe not the most action figure friendly thing. However, they are nice and flexible, and you can still get his arms into a true T-pose. And then the butterfly joint just works underneath of him, but that does stop you from maybe rotating his arms straight up. And that is a little bit of a hindrance, I gotta say. So, as I mentioned, there's butterfly joint in there, and then the single jointed elbows go way past 90, which is awesome. They swivel at the elbow. There is gauntlet rotation in there, and then he has the ball jointed wrist action going on, which is so nice to see. The range isn't amazing in any direction, but it's nice that you get both, you know, up and down and in and out instead of just one or the other. He features a mid-torso crunch, which allows you to crunch him that far forward, which is better than a lot of figures get, really. A lot of them don't get a ton of forward. Back, he gets a good amount too, which is really nice. And of course, he rotates and pivots, and then his legs can do not a full-blown split, but that's pretty impressive considering the get-up. His legs can kick pretty straightforward. They can go a little bit back, which is nice. There's no thigh rotation, you know, no thigh swivel, but there's a little bit of pivot on the hip ball. That's okay, because he has the single jointed knees that go to 90 and then swivel there, so it gives you some nice rotation in the leg. The knee pads are free floating, so spinning that around to show, it does feature the sculpted little flap that kind of hides the knee joint a little bit. But this will, of course, help you. You know, you can push it down if you want to hide that a little bit more. Just got to put it in whatever position works best for the pose that you're aiming for. And then, of course, his feet can go pretty far down, pretty far forward, and then there's a forward-facing pin for pivot, which allows you to get him in some pretty wide stances with both feet flat on the ground. Let's do a quick little size comparison. So here's Jango with a litany of other characters that are all somewhat relevant, being Anakin and Obi-Wan from Attack of the Clones, although I guess he didn't really deal with Anakin too much. That green saber from Anakin is just a spare Grievous saber. I have one posed, not forearmed, on the shelf, so I had a little freebie in the box there. And then, of course, Tyrannus or Dooku, depending on how much you know. And I just wanted to do a brief comparison with the original Jango. It almost might be worthy of just doing a full-blown video on it, so tell me in the comments if you would like to see that. But there are just so many immediate visual upgrades. The only thing this one has going for him is he does have some nice weathering all over him. However, think about Jango in Attack of the Clones. His armor was really not dirty. You know, it was pretty clean. You know, a little bit of Geonosis dirt in the very end, but still. There's just a lot of things on this new one that I think visually look a lot better. For instance, he's about 40 pounds lighter, which is nice. The helmet shape's just a little bit nicer, and yeah, there's some things that I like on this new one a lot more. Like, for instance, it's not garbage like the old one. So yeah, this new Jango, just excellent. I like it. So end of the day, what do I think of the new Jango? Wow, just what a great figure. Phenomenal job to everyone at Hasbro that had any involvement on this figure. I just truly love everything about this. This is such an insane upgrade. I am so happy to finally have a not terrible Jango on the shelf. Just what a bad old figure. It makes me regret getting a Jango Fett autograph from Tamura Morrison in Chicago last year, or the year before last, because I had to use the Gaming Greats Jango, which is actually from a game that I like, so I guess I'm okay it's on that, but this figure would look so much better in that box. So yeah, I really love this figure. Do you want me to recommend it? I mean, do you think I'm not gonna recommend it at this point? I've been glazing it for 15 minutes now. This Jango, in my opinion, if you are in any way a fan of the character, is like mandatory. Go grab him, go order him. I think he's in stock on Amazon right now. Like, just go get it. Take this thing, like, wipe your butt with it, throw it away, flush it, whatever you got to do. Get rid of this piece of garbage. This new Jango Fett, absolutely the definitive Jango Fett for the Black Series. I have no changes I would want to make to it. Maybe paint match the leg armor to the chest plate if you want any kind of complaint, but in person it's really not that eye-catching. I love it. Great figure, incredibly recommended by me. Go get it. That's all I got to say on it. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep saying I like it. So I'm going to go put that energy towards something else. So thank you for hanging out with me. Appreciate you viewing and checking in. And super glad to finally have this wave in hand. So excited for the Quinlan wave now. That's got to be coming out soon, right? So anyway, may the force be with each and every one of you. Have a good one. See you next time. Bye.